Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the virtual Wine, Women, and Chocolate. I'm Val Lega with 13 on your side, and I am happy to be your host who's going to walk you through this virtual event tonight. And we are just thrilled to be able to offer this event. Again, we know every year, many of you look forward to it. Plan it with your girlfriends. It's a great night, and it's going to be the same kind of great night, only a little bit different and a little bit virtual. So we want to, of course, acknowledge the team at the Women's Resource Center who worked very hard to make sure that you were still going to have a chance to enjoy wine, women, and chocolate, albeit maybe virtually. And they certainly did do a very wonderful job. And I also want to make sure that you all got your party packs. Some of you might have just your own box. Some of you got together with friends and you're sitting at home right now with your own boxes. They all contain the same items, and we're going to walk through a wonderful tasting experience. So to get us started, I want to really acknowledge all of the businesses that have given generously in sponsorships. If you want to look at your program right now, there is a full list of sponsors that you can look at. And, you know, sponsorship in businesses is a very powerful tool. And of course, we understand that the businesses can choose where they want to support nonprofits. And this list of companies have intentionally chosen the Women's Resource Center because they believe in the mission, the vision, and the importance of empowering women in the workplace. So we are so grateful that they not only see this value, but they want to be part of that progress for this important work that the Women's Resource Center is doing. I'm also going to highlight just a few of our other sponsors. The Cabernet sponsors for tonight are Grand Rapids Metrology and the Grand Rapids Business Journal. Our sommelier sponsor is Mercantile Bank, and our champagne sponsor is Eastbrook Homes. Now, if you have not visited the Eastbrook Homes showroom, I definitely encourage you to do so because it's amazing, it's beautiful, and without further ado, I'm actually going to have Eastbrook Homes officially kick us off with a toast.
Hi, Joshua McGraw here with Eastbrook Homes. Here to kick off an awesome event for the Women's Resource Center for wine, women, and chocolate. And who doesn't love all of those things? We here at Eastbrook Homes are sponsoring this event, and we want to just have you all take some time, think about the women and the children that are in need in our community, and the ability for you to be a part to help them in that need and provide some resources for them. So wanted to say have a great event, and please pull your pocketbooks and see if we can support this worthy cause.
Thank you so much, Joshua. Cheers. The event has officially started. And of course, you see there Sandra Gaddy joining us as well. Hello, Sandra. She is the CEO of the Women's Resource Center. It is so great to see you again, even though it has to be virtual.
Thanks for being here, Val.
Yeah, I really, really enjoy it. So I wouldn't miss it. Last year was my first year to experience it. This year, I'm experiencing it in a different way, but it's going to be just as great. I've looked inside the box. I can't wait to try some of the things that we have. Now, I also want to talk to you a little bit about George Sommelier Walker. He is going to be the sommelier who is going to be walking us through the tasting. So if you've already gotten into some of your beverages, keep a little bit so that you can still get the tasting experience that we want you to have tonight. Now, there are wonderful ways for you to participate. We're trying to make this as interactive as possible, make it feel like we're all in that big room together that we have so much fun in every single year. So we want you to take some selfies. So you can see these little selfie sticks, pick whichever you want, white or red, or if you want to support the Women's Resource Center and take your selfie with the little pennant here. And we want you to share those with us, and we will be sharing them later in the program. We just want to be able to see you at home, see you enjoying tonight, and making it as special as we can for everyone involved, because it's always been a fun and social event, and we're not going to let a little pandemic get in our way of not keeping it fun and social, right? Also, if you see these little cards that are also in your tasting box. Now, some of them on the back show you ways to pair at home for any wines that you might have at home. But then there's also the little little written area on the back that you can use as well. So we want to make sure that you are being as interactive as possible. Be sure to use the hashtags that we would love you to use on social media and Facebook and Instagram. Whatever platform you prefer, you can do it on Facebook, you can do it on Instagram, you could do it on Twitter. But we just want you to engage with us tonight and show us that you're there. And probably we're going to show you a little bit at the end. Some of you have taken some really fun ones. We're going to keep moving forward here, and I'm going to introduce Sandra again. Many of you probably know her very, very well, and that her heart and her passion for the Women's Resource Center seems unstoppable, of course, but she also has a very fierce advocacy for our community as well, and it is one of the things that I just love and admire about her. So it's time now to welcome Sandra Gaddy back, the CEO of Women's Resource Center, and I think it's really important, Sandra, for us to talk a little bit about this night every year and why it's so important to you.
Yeah, thanks, Val. Well, we're all here, we're in our homes, but we are grateful for all of you being here with us, virtually that is, but still connecting with you all. And I would be remiss if I did not thank Val for hosting tonight for us once again and helping us to feel a little bit of some normalcy during these times. But we are excited, Val. I can't tell you how thrilled we are. We were hoping to have 100 guests joining us tonight, and we have 230 folks and people who have signed on to this event without their boxes from all over the state. So thank you guys for your support. Now more than ever, this event is essential to really help the women who are navigating this pandemic. This pandemic has affected women in some tremendous ways. And tonight, we are going to celebrate women who are continuing to persevere and pursue new career opportunities despite these overwhelming obstacles they face. At WRC, we are grateful to contribute to the empowerment and support of women and their families. Through difficult times that they are facing, they are still pursuing meaningful work and financial stability. Our mission is to empower women in the workplace. So we recognize the collective power of strong women and you male allies who gather to lift up women. We serve women from all walks of life, and so many face many barriers here in West Michigan and beyond. But with your partnership, we are seeing them overcome. So thank you for being here with us tonight. And like I said, I'm very, very grateful for all of you joining us.
Sandra, and one that last year was my first opportunity to truly experience it and see and hear the stories and the support, and it's amazing. What is also amazing is just the leadership that exists within the Women's Resource Center.
Yes, I have to give recognition to a group of phenomenal group of leaders who exist for Women's Resource Center, because it all takes a village and teamwork. I like to say teamwork make the dream work. It's not mine, but I use it. But the people you see listed here are passionate, dedicated, relentless in their efforts to make Women's Resource Center, our organization, stronger every day. So thank you so much to our incredible staff, who is selfless, and our passionate board of directors, and to our committee members for Wine, Women, and Chocolate. We simply could not have put this event on without them. Thank you.
Oh, Sandra, this is going to be a great night, because you know what? We are getting ready for that tasting, and I can hardly wait. We're also going to hear a lot more about the Women's Resource Center coming up as well, so we're going to see you in just a bit. I do want to give you a couple of other items that are in your box first. Let's get back to those square cards. They are labeled as the tasting cards, and it's useful for you to just have in your kitchen, as I had mentioned, for the different types of wine. But if you go to the back, when I talked about the little lines that you can fill in tonight, they're for you to make notes on, jot down ideas that are discussed. If you're there together with a small group and you all have your boxes and you want to talk either about the Women's Resource Center or even just about the night, the experiences that you've had. So they're just for you. There's no quiz at the end, because as we know, Wine, Women, and Chocolate is all about having fun and supporting women. And that's what we're going to do tonight. All right, so the fun part, the tasting, I am going to begin by telling you just very briefly about George Walker. He is a sommelier. He's the founder of Graped Out, Some of you may be familiar with him. He's a very charismatic. And he used to reside in Grand Rapids until just a few weeks ago. Then he got an amazing opportunity and relocated to California. And he was the first employee to work for the D-Wade Cellars in Napa. And of course, he's just thrilled with this new experience, but we're also thrilled that he's giving us his time tonight to walk us through this amazing tasting. So read more about George in your program, because he is a phenomenal sommelier. All right, this is the moment where I tell you to get out your Brewery Vivant Tropical Saison beer. And that would be this. Pour yourself some, hopefully you have some left. And then follow along with some thoughts in your program if you flip to the Tropical Saison page. I know some of you say, I'm not really a beer drinker, but this is the time to really try things outside your comfort zone, right? We're doing virtual events. We're doing a lot of things outside our comfort zone. So why not just continue with that? And so I'm just going to officially give you permission to crack open that beer and start to enjoy it. Also, if you haven't supported Brewery Vivant or you haven't been there, it's co-ran by a powerhouse woman, Ms. Chris Spalding. Chris always very, very generous of the Women's Resource Center with her support and her acknowledgement of the need for it in our community. And so I encourage you to visit their tap room, not just for great beer, but for great wine, for great ciders, and for amazing food as well. So pour yourself your beer if you haven't yet, and grab your Kilwins package. I am going to move over to my tasting spot and join you. All right, George, I poured my beer. Time to get started. We want everybody at home to join in on the tasting. This is the fun, interactive part. I can't wait. What do you have for us today?
Yeah, so we have Brewery Vivant Tropical Saison, which I am so excited for. Saison is easily one of my favorite types of beers, classically French style, really fresh, really clean, kind of perfect for right now as we're dipping away from summer, but kind of dipping into fall. Just because it still has body, it still has this really nice, cool and bright flavors. But if you want to start, we can start by smelling the Saison. And the cool thing about the Brewery Vivant Saison is that it's brewed with things like pineapple.
You can smell that in there, George. Like, I can smell all of the layers.
I know, right? Exactly. So if you smell it, you get, I mean, go figure, you get tropical notes, but you get things like a pineapple, you get things like guava, you get things like even like a little bit of orange zest. So if you wanna taste that and kind of put it on your palate. Yeah, just like that. Nice, nice, nice. You see how like it frosts up just enough. It's the bubbles aren't too much. The carbonation
right
isn't too heavy.
Right on the tip of my tongue, right at the
right.
front of my tongue.
Yeah, exactly. What do you taste? Let me know what you taste.
Well, let me try one more time.
That's never a bad thing, right?
I definitely taste the pineapple for sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
And it just feels very, like you said, tropical. But I think the thing that I really enjoy about it are the way that it bubbles on your tongue.
Exactly.
It's really fun.
And it's honestly not too much. It's honestly like perfect. And you still get you still get the crispness of it. You still get the body without it actually being overwhelmingly sweet. And that's why I like Brewery Vivant Saison or Tropical Saison so much, is because they didn't overdo it. You can still taste the fruit, but it's honestly doesn't have too much fruit, honestly. It doesn't taste too sweet.
You know how I would describe it, George? I would describe it as September in a can.
Yes, I love that. I love that so much. I love that.
But we've got a little something to pair it with, right?
Yes, we do, which I'm so excited about. When we were doing the research and R&D for this, I was like, taste chocolate and drink beer? What? Are you serious? Yes, of course. It's not a bad job to have. So we did a lot of chocolate tasting just so that we can get this perfectly and just so that we can get this right. So if you guys want to take your chocolate bonbon, your strawberry,
one.
Yep.
So the one that looks like this at home for everybody at home joining along. Okay.
Exactly. So what I like to do is I actually like to get a little bit of the liquid or the beer on my palate first.
Okay.
just because I want to get my mouth ready and my palate ready for the food that I'm going to be taking in. So once you get your palate ready, take
Mhm.
another sip. And then after that, you want to then bite into the strawberry bonbon. And then just kind of let that
Mm.
settle on your palate. And once it's kind of like almost settled in, take one more sip just to kind of wash it down. The acidity or the carbonation is able to kind of act as like a scrubber for your palate. And it's able to actually kind of like scrub your tongue, but also complement it. You're able to get those really nice tropical notes that are in the beer that complement the strawberries really, really well. This was easily one of my favorite pairings to do. And I hope you guys like it at home too.
Yes, I hope you're enjoying it at home, but this isn't the only pairing we're doing. We've got some wines that we're going to pair as well.
Yes. My favorite part. I'm so excited.
All right. I'm excited for the wine tasting as well. We've got round one down. I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope for you at home, if you were like, I don't know how I feel about the beer, that you really did taste September in a can, because phenomenal. I really loved that beer. All right. I'm going to bring us right back to why we are really here tonight. Yes, it's wonderful to taste the wine and chocolate. And yes, it's great to socialize, but it is also important to support the mission and the work of the Women's Resource Center. So like Sandra mentioned earlier, tonight we are gathering virtually, and that's totally fine. We gather any way we can these days. We're gathering for two very important reasons: to be a community, to know that we are stronger together and able to do more together. The second is to be generous. And I'd like to share with you a very special video about the impact of the Women's Resource Center. Such a moving video that really brings home what the Women's Resource Center does. And it is just incredible to see that women have actually been able to continue to pursue what they wanted to do, even during the pandemic. The Women's Resource Center was there for them, reaching out, building resumes, everything that you just saw in that video, and all of the work that they've been continuing to do. So, Sandra, I just want to bring you back in and get a little bit of your reaction to that video and exactly what it is that you find just so important about your work. I was amazed to see your workers with their masks on and updating those resumes and giving the words of encouragement to the women that you will have a brighter future. And I think that's what I love the most.
Yeah, I just believe that the video captured that whether it's a loss of job or us serving a returning citizen, getting her certificate, we serve women from all walks of life. And that's the beautiful work about, that's the beauty of what our work is.
Yeah, and of course, you couldn't do your work without some generosity from the community helping to support you. Isn't that true?
That's absolutely true.
All right, so we're at that point now where we're going to talk about the auction and how somebody can choose to be generous. And we hope that you will tonight while you're sipping and tasting and hearing the stories from the Women's Resource Center, that you really do deep dive into your pocketbooks and donate and help to support the Women's Resource Center, because they are such an important piece of the fabric of our community and building it a better place and giving people brighter futures. And I just love this organization. So we have a lot of packages, a lot of really fun ones. What was your favorite, Sandra?
Gonna put me on the spot.
Yeah,
Well,
the yacht.
I had some favorites. I think during this pandemic, I think everyone is wanting a trip. Looking pretty good.
Yes, I would have to agree with that. There are some amazing packages. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure that you do pull up the auction site. And you know what you can do? You can watch this on your laptop or your iPad, and then you can pull it up on your phone and scroll. You know, multitasking. It's what we've gotten really good at during the pandemic, isn't it, Sandra? That multitasking. And so the auction is going to be open for 24 hours. So it won't close until 5 o'clock tomorrow night. So you've got some time to sort of think about which one you want. And there are some fabulous items on there. So if you're looking for a link to the auction, you can find it in the same places that you would click on in the link to this event. So either the Women's Resource Center's website or the Facebook page. Either one's going to take you to that auction site. So either log on with your phone or log on with your iPad and look at some of those auction items, because they're amazing. And it is the heart and soul of how we raise money here for the Women's Resource Center. All right. We are ready now to move on to the wine tasting part of our event. We have two wineries in your box tonight. And so they're both from Fenn Valley. I don't know if you've been to Fenn Valley or not, but it is a really neat winery that it's just not too far from Grand Rapids. It offers it's a really good day trip, especially this time of year in the fall. I highly recommend it. Their beautiful property really does allow you to have that outdoor, socially distanced area where you can have some pairings and have some food and just really enjoy the day and the wine. So you're going to need, again, your Kilwins box of chocolates. There's 2 left in there, hopefully, unless you've eaten them up. Kilwins, of course, has a shop in East Grand Rapids and then also downtown, and they are an amazing chocolatier that we have right in our own backyard. Great gem in our community. So pour your wines into some glasses so that we can get into this next phase. George, he really wants you to have it in a glass so you can squish it around and smell it and just have the whole experience of this tasting. So be sure you do that. I'm going to do the same and step over to my tasting. All right, George, it's time for some wine pairings and chocolate. Yes. I'm excited for this one too.
Oh my gosh, yes, me too. So what we have here in our glass, we have the Vino Blanco from Fenn Valley, one of my favorite Michigan producers. They're absolutely amazing. So the Vino Blanco, right? What is the Vino Blanco? So it's actually a grape that's called Vinho Verde, which is most popular in Portugal. I had the chance to actually visit Portugal, Lisbon, Portugal last year, and it is absolutely amazing. If you all have not gone, I highly suggest going.
I hear it's beautiful there.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And this is like Portugal in a glass, but in Michigan. So the way that I like to taste wine is similar to beer, right? What I like to do is I like to examine the color first. And then what I like to do next is I like to kind of swirl it around the glass and make sure that the entire wine is kind of like engulfing in the glass. Because
what does the swirling do, George?
Yeah, definitely. So the swirling essentially just coats your glass so that when you go to smell and you're going to kind of like take in those aromas, it's there and it's more present rather than if you just kind of had it still and it wasn't moving. You really want the wine to kind of coat the glass so that when you go in to actually smell it, you're able to get as much as you possibly
I
can.
can almost start to smell the aroma just by doing this.
Right. Yeah, 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 definitely. So kind of swirl it around and then see what we smell on the nose. Oh man, I love that. It's I love that
Mm.
so much. I'm getting like lemon peel. I'm getting like cream green crisp apple. I'm getting really nice acidity on the nose actually, which is amazing. So let's do the next part, the most fun part. Let's taste it and see
Okay.
what we taste. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. This is everything I love about wine. All in
This
the
I
glass.
love a good
It's
white wine, and this one is like really, I don't know.
clean,
Yes.
refreshing, right? It's
Mhm.
it's vibrant, it still has so much life, There's a little bit of effervescence there too. Like it's not all the way bubbly, but you can taste just like a slight bit in there. But again, you really are starting to get that nice acidity that breaks through, but it really has nice body and character, which is why I love Vino Verde so much.
Yes. Oh my goodness. It's lovely. All right. So for everyone at home following along, now that you've swished, I hope you still have some left because this is really tasty. And we have a
It's so
pairing with it,
tasty.
right?
Yes, yes, we do. So the pairing that we have with this, we have the dark chocolate lemon peel. And I am super excited about this one. And the reason why we chose the dark chocolate lemon peel was because because you're able to really get the nice acidity from the lemon peel, and it's really bright, but the dark chocolate doesn't necessarily overpower the lemon, and it kind of almost calms it down, and really kind of creates this balance that we thought would go really, really, really well with the Vino Verde.
And
So
it's a
again,
really fun shape. So for
right,
those of you
it's
at
so
home,
cute.
it looks like this. Looks like literally a chocolate covered lemon pill. Okay,
Yes,
so wine first and then chocolate?
yes. So wine first. Get that palate ready for the food that you're about to intake, and kind of wash it around your mouth. Yes, 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 yes. And then I
Mm.
want you all to take a bite into that lemon peel, and just kind of like again, let that
Mm.
settle in on your palate. It's really good, isn't
Mhm.
it? Yes,
This is like delicious.
I love it. I love it. It's so great. Now that it's on your palate, you want to take another drink of your Vino Verde, or excuse me, Vino Blanco. Yeah, yeah, right, right, right.
Oh,
How do you like it?
that
It's
is a
amazing, isn't
great
it?
it's a great pairing.
So now we have again the Finn Valley Vino Rosso, which I am so excited about. Again, Finn Valley is one of my favorite Michigan producers, and they do just amazing work. So Vino Rose, excuse me, a blend of Pinot Meunier as well as Chamboursin. For those of you all who don't know, Pinot Meunier is actually a blending grape, usually found in Champagne. Actually, that's
Oh,
one of the three major grapes that they have in Champagne. So you have Chardonnay, you have Pinot Noir, and then you have
you know what
Pinot
I'm
Meunier.
you know what I'm noticing about this, George, is the beautiful color it has, like the different
Right.
levels of color.
Exactly, exactly. It's still really, really bright, but it still has like this amazing sheen and amazing gloss that I'm really excited for.
So
But it
same
also
thing, do we
has,
swirl it?
yes, so swirl it around. So this also has a little bit of Chamboursin as well, which is what we like to call a hybrid grape, in between a Vino Lambrusco, and it's really amazing. So if you swirl it and kind of get it all around the glass again, and then you're able to smell it, you get this nice,
Mm,
rich body and rich
yeah.
aroma. I get things like violet. I get things like a watermelon on the nose, unripe plum as well. So it's easily one of my favorites that they have in their portfolio. So now that we've smelled it, let's taste it. Let's drink
All
it.
right.
I am a huge fan of what Finn Valley is doing, and I implore you all to support them, support Michigan wine. Yeah. So yeah, what do you get on
Okay,
the
what I
palate?
notice when I taste this is that like I have a different flavor on the front of the
Yeah,
tongue than the back of the tongue. Obviously, we have different taste
right.
buds there, but you can as you swallow it, you can feel those roll through the mouth.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, at the forefront, you're able to get you're able to get the acidity, but at the same time, you're able to get the body that's from it. So it doesn't taste tannic. It's not necessarily, it doesn't like dry your mouth out, even though
No.
it is on the drier side. But
And
then
then
out
we
on the
have
finish, yes, the chocolate that's being paired with it. So what we decided to do was we decided to do a dark chocolate raspberry truffle,
mm,
just because I know, right?
my favorite. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So the reason why we decided to do that was because I'm really big into truffles, and I thought the raspberry would really complement the fruit that is within the Vino Rosé, and really be able to complement it. Take a bite into that truffle. Yes, yes, yes. I
Mm.
know it's so decadent. I love it. It's honestly
I
that's
really hope
probably
everyone at home is enjoying this as much as I am because this is lovely.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh my gosh. So now that we have it on our palate, let's get some wine into us and really see how that really complements the
Mm.
raspberry
I was
and
gonna say
really
it
able
makes
to
the raspberry so much brighter. Oh my goodness, this is
exactly, exactly.
amazing.
It really brings it out. It really is able to kind of enhance the experience of both not only the raspberry truffle, but also the wine. And that's
You know
what you
what,
want
George?
with a perfect pairing.
You have made this so much fun to do. I mean,
Oh
it's
my
great.
gosh.
But we're not done with you yet. I know people at home, you probably have lots of questions for George. He is going to answer those a little bit later in the show.
Please.
But for now, if you do want to check him out, George Walker, grapedout.com. But we're going to see a little bit later, George, for some questions.
Nice. Sounds great. See you soon.
It is so wonderful to talk to someone who's knowledgeable about this stuff. And so we're going to bring George back in a moment with me. But I know in your boxes you have Cake a Bakery cookies. They are one of our favorite partners here. Usually we have cupcakes from Cake a Bakery and some cookies in your swag bag. But George, could you tell us, hey, which wine would pair better or beer with the cookies? And I have another question for you after that.
Yes, yes. So you said which wine would pair better with the cookies?
Mm-hmm. With the chocolate.
Honestly, so honestly, I think you, goodness, there's a lot of different pairings that you can pair with the cookies. My personal favorite is actually a wine called a Sauterne, and Sauterne is actually from Bordeaux, France, and it's like almost like a well, I shouldn't say fortified wine, but it's a wine that has a little bit more or less alcohol, but really nice RS, which is what we like to call residual sugar. So I think it pairs perfectly. But with what we had tonight, I would definitely say the Vino Verde for sure, or the Vino Blanco.
Okay. So the wine that you mentioned before, was that a red?
So, oh yes, so Sauterne is actually a white. It's a dessert wine,
Okay.
and it's oh my gosh, it's delicious. It's really really good.
So I don't normally go for sweet wines, but I'm gonna have to try that. You have to
You
put
have to. It's really solid. And not only does it go with cookies, but it also goes with like blue cheese, which is amazing.
Oh, I
Ooh.
love blue cheese.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's so
Mm.
good.
So now before you take over, I do have one question. So many people think that, and I'm gonna say so many, I'm gonna talk about myself. I usually pair chocolate with rare red wines. So it was
Oh
so
yeah.
incredible to see the the rosé and the white that you had paired with the chocolates and the way to do that. So you broaden my, my
Yo, thank you so much.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, but it's that's the thing about tastings, right? And that's the thing about pairings. You can do so much with it, and you should never go with the standard cliches of what is has already been set. I think that's cool. I think that's okay. I think that's fine. But always have fun with it. Get outside of the box, and you'll be able to find so many more different, like beautiful, beautiful pairings, like today, like tonight, I should say.
Yes.
Oh, George, you're like a wealth of information, and we could talk to you forever, but we really probably should let some of those watching give their questions as well. So while we're
Yes,
gathering those up,
please.
I want to remind everybody that we've got selfies. Don't forget to take your selfies. Okay, when you post your photos, make sure you use one of these pennants, and you can either do Team White, Team Red. You can do the Women's Resource Center. I love this one. Look, they gathered together. They even have their cute little board that says Wine, Women, and Chocolate 2020. How adorable is that? I love it. And when you do post it, it doesn't matter whether you post it to Facebook or you've posted to Instagram. In your program, there is the hashtags that we'd like you to use so that we can pull those photos forward and we can just keep sharing them and share the night with everyone. And so you'll find those in your program. And that is just like amazing. And I would really love to talk to George. We're getting some questions in here now, George.
Nice.
This is one that I think you've probably never been asked this. Can you pair wine with potato chips?
Oh my gosh, yes. That's like the perfect pair. Okay, I have the perfect pairing for
Why
that.
does it make so
I am
perfect?
so excited because okay, so potato chips pairing champagne or cava, honestly. But if you're gonna do it, I think that champagne is like the best just because it's potato chips. Like no one would assume that you would pair
No.
like champagne with it. But if you're gonna like ball on the budget, cava is absolutely amazing as well, which is from Spain, Barcelona, but the actual wine region is called Penedès. Barcelona is about an hour away from Penedès, and I was fortunate enough to go there this past year before the world shut down. But yeah, so cava or champagne for sure.
What is it about the potato chips that makes the flavor explosion in your mouth with the champagne?
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Is it salt?
it's the salt. That's exactly it. It's the salt. It's the crispness of the actual chip, and then like I was saying with the beer before, when you have carbonation like that, the carbonation acts as like a scrub, if you will, and it scrubs it really like scrubs your palate. So I mean, and then you also have the really nice brightness that you usually get from champagne and the acidity. So it's just honestly like the perfect pairing. It's
Yeah,
yeah, definitely try it if you haven't
honestly,
had it.
one that I think I would like to try. I'm not kidding. Hey, we've got another question. This one is probably going to be maybe one of your hardest. Do you have a favorite wine?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I get that. I get this question all the time. I don't necessarily have a favorite wine, but I would definitely say my favorite regions, if you will, and styles, I would definitely say are Loire. I mean, Loire grows which is in France. They grow some of the best grapes in the world. I mean, anything from Cab Franc to Chenin Blanc, which I'm a really big fan of, to Gamay. Loire is just an amazing region. The other region I would definitely say is one of my absolute favorites, which is Stellenbosch, South Africa. A beautiful, beautiful region. They grow tons of Chenin Blanc. They grow a lot of Cab Franc as well, and some Cabernet Sauvignon. But both of those regions, Loire, France, and then Stellenbosch, South Africa, I feel as well I just really slept on, honestly, and just need a little bit more recognition in the broader scope of the wine drinking world.
Is there anything that you wouldn't pair a wine with? Like, is there any food that you're like, no, wine is not, doesn't matter what it is, you're not going to go good with that?
That's so interesting. I've never had that question asked.
I
I don't think
stumped
that
you.
no. I think everything has its match. Everything has its perfect pairing. Like, yeah, I think so. No, that's a good question though.
All right, I'm going to give you some time to think about that while I get to our next viewer question, which is, how
Nice.
long does it take to become a sommelier?
Yeah. Honestly, that's all dependent on you and your person really, and how long you'd like to and how much you want to put into it. Honestly, I'm actually going to meet up one of my friends who's a master sommelier tonight. D. Lynn. He was. If you all have watched the movie Somm, he was the only other African American that was in the movie. Really good guy. But he kind of went through it little bit longer, if you will. But I know other people who have gotten their master sommelier certification when they were like 26. And that's another one of my friends, Carlton, who's done it, kind of quickly. So it just depends on you and what you want to and how much you really want to learn. And if you want to span that out and how much time you actually have to dedicate to the craft.
Well, it's amazing that you've spent so much time and are so knowledgeable. It's so much fun to sit and talk with you right now. So here's a Facebook question. What does George think about Michigan wines?
Oh my gosh. Fire, straight fire.
What do you mean by that?
It's amazing. It's like dope. It's like brilliant. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Everything above. A lot of people sleep on Michigan. And I think the global community, well, at least the national community, is starting to get a little bit more onto it. Because I am here in Napa now, I've had a lot of discussions about Michigan wine and the trajectory that it has for right now. Unfortunately, here in Napa, we're going through a lot of fires, which I'm sure you all have seen on the news. So our harvest was cut short, unfortunately. So we won't have as much juice this year. But I know a place that will, Michigan. You should drink more Michigan wine because it's good. It's honestly the Rieslings, the Cabernet Francs, the Pinot Noirs. Honestly, are some of the best in the world and can compete with some of the best in the world. Yeah, period.
And I know we're starting to get known for our beer around the world. So it'd be great to know that we could start getting known for our wine around the world as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's getting there. Okay,
so George, what pairs well with hot dogs? Now, I would immediately go a beer. I'm not going to name the brand. That's something light, but that's what I would go with a hot dog. But do you think?
Yeah, honestly, so it depends on what's on the hot dog. If you're just doing like, ketchup, mustard, a little bit of onion, or actually, I don't really like mustard like that. So let's just say ketchup and onion. I would definitely do a Gamay. Honestly, Gamay is so fruity. I mean, fruit forward, but still has character. It still has body. It still has depth. And it's just playful. Like so I'm sure you all have heard of Beaujolais Nouveau. Beaujolais Nouveau is the grape is called Gamay. And yeah, it's just super fun and playful, just like hot dogs, but can be taken very seriously, depending on where you are in the world. So if you have a Grand Cru Beaujolais, it's a little bit more serious. You're going to get a little bit more depth. You're going to get a little bit more character. You're going to get more acid and a little bit more earthy tones as well, just like a hot dog. If you have a hot dog that's a proper dog that's from Germany, you're gonna get a little bit more of the gaminess that would come out from the casing that you have in the dog, or the sausage really, which would actually pair really well with some Grand Cru Beaujolais.
We just had a shout out to you from one of our viewers that said, George is the coolest. And I would have to agree.
Blessings. Bless. I love you guys.
Okay. Here's a question for you. What about the Niagara region? Is it similar to Michigan? Now, this is interesting to me. I'm assuming Erin means the Niagara Falls, New York State.
Yep, in New York.
So I'm from Erie, right along the lakeshore. We grow grapes there. But
I mean, the Finger Lakes region is amazing. Again, very similar growing region, which is why they grow a lot of the same grapes that we do. If you look on a map, we're actually at the very similar parallel as regions like the Finger Lakes and New York. But the reason why we grow those grapes are because if you look back at history and you look at the main regions, or so in wine, we have what's called the Old World versus the New World. Old World is basically Europe and all the countries that grow wine within Europe. The New World is basically everywhere else. So that's the U.S., that's Australia, South America, South Africa, all these new places. So in the Old World, where wine is typically the grandfather and where a lot of all this started, You can find regions like Alsace and Moselle. So Alsace is in France, and then Moselle is in Germany. They grow predominantly Riesling, Cab Franc, Bluff Frankish, all of the grapes that we grow really, really well here, as well as in New York. So that's why you all. I'm still going to say we because I still feel like I'm a Michigander at heart.
I hope so, because I hope this is where your heart is, other than even though you're
For
in
sure.
Napa right now. And we have so many viewers saying that not only you're the coolest, they want to meet you, that you're super popular, that they just think that you're so knowledgeable.
Oh my gosh.
So with George made great picks on the pairings. Thanks, George. So there you go.
Thank you all.
Michelle. Hey, and also, do you know whether or not you have a favorite up north winery? There are so many.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely do. So two of which are my favorites. You all should definitely check them out. I would definitely say Shady Lane is an absolutely phenomenal producer. They grow some really, really awesome Bluff Frankish. Bluff Frankish is it's a red grape. So you get tons of like black pepper, you get tons of earth, you get tons of like blackberries, you get tons of, but the tannins aren't overwhelming. It's definitely dry, but it's still really, really full and rich, which a lot of Michigan reds don't, I shouldn't say don't have, but it's harder to get just because we have such a cooler climate, and they do it amazingly. Another one is El Mabi, one of the best sparkling producers in the state. I mean, in the nation, let alone just the state, really in the world. El Mabi is an amazing sparkling producer. I would highly suggest those two for sure. And Left Foot Charlie too.
George, as you know, we could talk to you all night long, and our viewers are enjoying it immensely. But we do have some other things we need to get to, so we have to say goodbye. But hopefully not for long.
Right.
A successful career in Napa, but we also want you to come back and give us some love.
Yes, definitely.
Oh my goodness, Sandra. Thank you for bringing all this together. I mean, this was my first time meeting George, and you said that he was phenomenal, and you did not lie.
It is truly our pleasure. And thank you, Val, for hosting. Thank you, George. When I asked him months ago to do this, he said yes right away and ended up having to go to California and still stayed on with us. So the both of you have really, I think, made this a wonderful experience for everyone. And as we mentioned before, the work that we do here to empower women would not be possible without all of you and our sponsors, our guests, and just your generous support. Thank you for bidding today, and thank you for joining us this evening. And we're just really, really grateful, and grateful for your support, grateful for you joining us. And so we know that this past year is we don't know what the future will hold for us, but we know over this last 6 months that what we've witnessed has proved a lot to us. But we are so confident that the women that we work with here will continue to fight and will continue to strive and really pursue their dreams in workforce development. And so we couldn't do this work without all of our sponsors and our guests. So thank you. Thank you for being here.
I can't imagine that anybody didn't enjoy the box that they signed up for. And Wendy says Sandra's an amazing leader and the work is so important. And Wendy, yes, you are right. Very, very much so. We are lucky to have a woman like you in our community. Sandra, I'm lucky to call you my friend. And so this has been a great night. It's been fun. It's been enjoyable, but we also highlighted very important mission that's important to our community as well with the Women Resource Center. So, but we need to remind everybody about the auction that's going on. You touched on it a little bit. Go online, look at some of those fabulous items, auction items. You have until 5 o'clock tomorrow. So if you go on and you're kind of like wavering a little bit, make sure that you check them out and bid often, bid high, because we really, want to continue to keep the Women's Resource Center running here in our community. So that runs until 5 o'clock tomorrow. And you can find that on the Women's Resource website or on the Facebook page. And or if you want to, and you feel like you just need to make a donation so that Sandra and the women at the Women's Resource Center can continue their amazing work, you can do that as well. And there's a way for you to do that on the website, to just make a direct donation. So we just want to send one final thank you for our sponsors. And we couldn't have done it without them. They have been amazing and stepped up to the plate as usual. So thank you to all of our amazing sponsors tonight. And we hope that you enjoyed it. I know I had a wonderful time. Thank you, Sandra, for asking me back again. It's a great event, and we hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful night.